Said something somewhere.
Yeah, we're live.
Three Amigos is a 1986 American Western comedy film directed by John Landis, written by Lorne Michaels, Steve Martin, and Randy Newman, and starring Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, Martin Short, Alfonso Aro, Tony Plana, Patrice Martinez, and Joe Mantegna. Welcome to the Three Grandmas podcast.
Joe
How we doing?
Mantegna?
Joe who?
You mean Joe Montagna?
Joe Montagna?
Mantegna. Is it
Joe
Mantegna?
Montagna. It's Montagna.
Mantegna?
Joe Montagna.
I'm just reading it out.
That was wild.
How dare you? So crazy.
I think the most surprising thing to me, like reading that, is that Randy Newman wrote this.
He wrote,
I know, right?
Give him credit for the music.
It's crazy.
It's because
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
because he wrote two songs. This
No,
movie was
but-
in development hell for 6 years. It was
I guess
originally
so.
going to be John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, and they wanted Robin Williams at some point, and they've been shopping it around, and it's like finally they settled on this
So was this
version.
was this Lorne Michaels' baby? Like, is this something that he wanted to make for ages?
This was
and-
Steve Martin's.
Oh, it was Steve
Martin's
wrote it,
baby.
Okay.
And then
Yeah,
I
but
guess
so
in
did Lorne
1980 they tried to make it, and then they tried to make it for 6 years. And then they tried to get John Candy, but he was too big for the horses.
Now,
No way. That's the reason.
That's what I read about this movie because I'm like, this
In
movie is
past
fucking
episodes-
wild. Whoever,
we've done line readings, and then in one episode, I think Prag read something someone wrote or
quote.
from a book or something. Quote, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to read
I
something
did.
that I found very
please,
thought-provoking and
love a
and
reading.
poignant for this time in everyone's life, I think.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Quote, "My little buttercup has the sweetest smile.
Yeah.
Dear little buttercup, won't you stay a while?" Now, what does that invoke in you guys?
Just pure bliss.
Right? Okay. We're on the same page. Okay.
Wait, where are you
Happiness.
going with this?
That makes me
It's
happy.
like
that
Little
is
buttercup.
the most Randy Newman song I've ever heard in my life.
that's just an old song. That's a traditional song. That's an old school song. I don't think Randy wrote that one. That's
I think
My
he
Little
did.
Buttercup.
I think he did.
No, My Little Buttercup. I know that song. Let me see.
Really?
I gotta fucking learn about this song.
The
I don't
song
know
that
now.
the song that they sang when all the animals started coming around them, that was pure Randy Newman.
Oh, yeah,
that,
Yeah.
that sounded like straight out of Toy Story.
My
It was
Little
wild. When I
Buttercup.
was hearing My Little Buttercup, I kept thinking of the song from Oliver.
I guess he did write it.
What is it called?
Fascinating.
Consider
The Library of
yourself
Congress.
a friend.
This
Consider
song was written in
yourself
1905. My guy.
One of the
It
family.
says, wait, who is a different guy? 1905?
Ron Wood, Luke Ron Wood wrote it in 1905.
I mean, there's a
This
lot
is from
of
the
like,
Library of Congress.
there's
Yeah,
a
it's
lot
an
of
old-
talent. A
it's
lot of
old
talent
school.
attached to this film.
Why is Randy Newman credited for it, though? That's crazy.
Because of
no
his
idea.
version? I don't know.
It's his
That's interesting.
version, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, his version that he arranged, I suppose.
Mm.
It's like they had a Mad Camp romp set up and they didn't invite any crazy people.
Mm.
That's what I felt about this movie. It's like, I don't think John Landis has, I mean, but then I look at like all the wonderful films he made, like Animal House,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he knows how to make these comedies. But I think I felt like Chevy Chase and Steve Martin and Martin Short were like constrained during this movie for some reason.
You think so?
I don't know.
What-
I
so-
wanted to laugh more. I expected to laugh more.
Before we get into this time, why did you pick Three Amigos after it wasn't the three that you initially
Three,
said?
I initially said we're
was like a panic.
nothing like this.
Panic choice.
Why did you pick this?
I'm not going to dispel that it wasn't a panic choice, but I had told JC what I wanted to watch, and he's like, "Oh, do you need help?" And I go, "No, I got it. Here's what I'm watching." And I told him, and then he said, "Oh, let's watch this movie." And I don't like being told what to do, so I immediately didn't want to watch it anymore.
All right.
See, this is why I don't give you.
I didn't even say that.
That's why I
I
don't
didn't
say
say
that.
that.
You're like, this would be a good one to watch. You didn't say we should watch it, but you're giving
Which
your
movie was
feedback.
that? Which
I don't
movie did
remember
you
what it
wave
was.
off?
Oh, no, Ernest Scared Stupid.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
Bunch of stuff. Yeah.
I was
There's a
watching
couple different
Ernest the
movies.
other day with Craig.
Were you?
I hadn't seen this.
We were
Ernest is
watching
amazing.
Ernest Scared Straight, or the scary one.
Yeah,
the
Scared Stupid.
Halloween.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the one?
That's what I
Yeah,
was
because we
gonna
were watching
pick
that in a
up.
watch party a couple days ago. That movie is surprisingly competent.
Yeah.
That
all
movie is
all those movies are. All the Ernest movies are.
well-directed films.
I've never seen any of them. I'd never even heard of them until you
so I
mentioned it.
I was gonna pick that movie, and then all of a sudden, I don't know why, just something popped in my head, like Three Amigos, and I was like, nope. You know what? As soon as it popped in my head, I immediately decided I want to do that, and I immediately texted you guys and said, "We're watching this movie."
You're like,
So that was it.
fuck it.
Yeah. I don't know what triggered it, but I was like, nope, we're watching this movie now.
You know what's interesting about this movie is that John Landis was on trial for the tragedy that happened during the Twilight Zone.
Oh,
Yes.
was
Crashed
he?
the helicopter. So he
Mhm.
barely directed this movie, and then the studio edited the shit out of it.
I can imagine.
So there's a final cut out there somewhere that maybe is a movie that
A
is
Landis
different,
cut?
a lot different.
Ooh.
Yeah, because it's like he was like a little distracted, I guess.
Is this a movie you'd seen before, Time?
I've seen it a million times.
A million
Oh,
times.
you
Is
have?
this like
Kid, yeah, a million times, yeah.
is this a
I saw
childhood
this when
movie?
it came
I
out.
love this
I
movie,
think.
yeah. Saw it when I was a kid.
So there's a lot of nostalgia here.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. Because I've got a film like this called the Country Bears that I will probably bring up on this
that
podcast
animated?
at some point. No, it's they're costumes, like full
Oh, are they?
costumes. They're a band.
Really?
Yeah.
Country
Yeah, they're
Like
a
the
band
Country
of
Bear
bears.
Jamboree, like the Disneyland Jamboree, the Country Bear Jamboree.
Yeah, there's a movie.
Oh shit!
There's a
I
movie.
want to see that. That
I haven't
sounds
seen it
amazing.
in so long, but I watched it 100 times
In
when I was a
That
kid.
2002?
sounds interesting.
Yes, that's the
Oh, that
one,
looks
yeah.
I
terrifying.
had
What the
no
fuck?
idea. I had no idea.
Jesus Christ.
What other secrets is Disney holding from me?
But like John Landis is a very interesting director, very interesting figure. He's
Yeah.
a very like some of his movies are absolute classics, and he's directed some of the most influential comedies
You want to go down the
of all
list?
time. Yeah, I mean we could talk about American Werewolf in London, which is
Mhm.
absolute banger. Blues Brothers, which is an absolute banger.
Kentucky Fried Movie.
Kentucky Fried Movie, yeah. He
Trading
did Beverly Hills
Places?
Cop 3, which isn't held in high regard. Yeah,
No,
Trading
that's
Places.
terrible. Coming to America, the first Coming to America.
This is your favorite movie as a kid.
Oh my god, that's literally JC on the left, and that's Lance. And there's Time on the back. That's perfect.
It's not my favorite
crazy.
movie.
This is crazy.
It's not my favorite movie, but
It's my
I
favorite
watched a
movie.
lot as a kid.
What the fuck? Oh, we're watching that at some point. We have to. We have
Yeah,
to.
I mean, I'm gonna bring it on. I'm gonna bring it on the podcast
yeah.
at some point. But yeah, so John Landis, incredible director. He even made the music video for Thriller,
Michael Jackson
Michael
Thriller.
Jackson's Thriller.
Fantastic. Yeah.
But obviously, he's a massive piece of shit.
Is he?
What happened
as
to
well.
him? I was going to say, what the fuck happened
Yeah,
to
what the
John
fuck?
Landis?
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
mean,
I see. I don't follow. I don't.
I know his
I
son
can't
is
keep up
not
with all.
great.
What did he do?
I
What
mean,
did John Landis do?
his son is an even bigger piece of shit.
What did his son do?
Well, his son,
There's a lot of
Max
like
Landis.
allegations about him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a screenwriter
He did make
who made a
some
few films.
amazing wrestling short documentaries though.
Yes, and he made
I
a
know-
great movie. He wrote a great movie called Chronicle, which was really
Oh,
good.
yeah.
I know that in 2009, John Landis signed a petition in support of director Roman Polanski.
Well, yeah, that's another knock against him.
Because
But
we have to
the-
talk
the
about
whole-
Roman Polanski every week.
We have
right?
to.
I really hoped we wouldn't bring up Polanski.
Have to.
This
Remember when the
week.
Oscars
We
gave him like
just-
a standing
I
ovation?
didn't bring it up. The notes are
Crazy.
just led me there.
after.
But
after
John
everything that
Landis-
came out.
I mean, the court case with John Landis. I mean, he caused the death of a helicopter. There was a helicopter crash on the set of the
Twilight
Twilight Zone movie.
Was it his fault?
Oh, absolutely. It
Yeah,
was
okay.
absolutely his fault. He's
It
the
wasn't,
director,
it wasn't something
and he
went wrong.
I
no
don't know
no.
enough about it.
There was so many like safety precautions that he completely just
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, and he continues to not give a shit about it like to this day. Like when he
Well, he's
talks about it,
dead.
he just has no. He's not. John Landis isn't dead. He's alive.
I thought
He
he
hasn't
was
made
dead.
a fucking a good movie
No,
since
no, he's alive.
1988. He made Coming to America in 1988, and then he made one shit movie after another. Oscar, Innocent
Yeah.
Blood, Beverly Hills Cop 3, The Stupids, Blues Brothers 2000, Susan's Plan, and Burke and Hare, and he hasn't fucking made a movie since.
Yeah.
So
he made Coming to America, which is a big one.
great. That's the last good one he made, 88.
Animal House was his as well. But I feel like you said, John Landis, he might have directed some of this movie, but it feels like it really feels like they put some cameras on Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, and Martin Short, and just shot the shit. What I do like about this film is the aesthetic of it. I think it looks very authentic.
It's very professionally shot. I mean, it's very well. I mean, it's like, I guess it's an homage to the classic westerns, right? You got to think like that's what they're going for, and so they have all the beautifully painted backgrounds and stuff. They use a lot of real sets from New Mexico and from the studios and stuff, but there's a lot of hand painted stuff. And I think the opening montage is just like all the hand painted
It's
sets
so good
and stuff.
Yeah. Also, the film grain, like the really fuzzy film grain, and the way all the Mexican actors are like, they're so like the way the makeup department.
So what?
They're so grimy. They're so grimy.
Wow.
Don't say that, JC.
That's
You just have to say
crazy
the
you said that.
actors. You can't say the Mexican actors.
JC
were
just
grimy.
said Mexicans
the
are
actors
grimy.
were grimy.
I want that on the
say
record. I want that on the
Mexicans are
record right
grimy.
now.
Crazy.
I said, I meant that the extras and the way that they look in the bar in comparison to the two guys that walk in with their super clean, just the aesthetic, like the way they're all
The white heroes. Of
I
course,
want
they're
to push
clean.
back on that because
They're wealthy. They're smart. They're clean.
In
they
the
know
bar-
it
stuff.
looks like a Sergio Leone film, is what I'm
in
trying
the
to
bar
say.
there were a couple of white dudes in the back that just had caked on makeup and dirt on their face to resemble being Mexican, and it was hilarious to me. I couldn't stop laughing.
Filthy.
Well, now I got to count all the white guys in the background. God damn it!
Yeah, absolutely right.
It was funny.
But what do you love about this film, Time? What's the appeal to you besides nostalgia? Do you
One, it's Mexican, and I'm Mexican, so
Right,
automatically I like it. I love the now to a much more higher degree. I like Martin Short and Steve Martin and Chevy Chase. Obviously, they're all hilarious. Especially when I was watching it as a kid too. I wasn't aware of them, as far as like their work. So just the physical comedy of it too was just really good, and the movie's just really funny, And then the action scenes, like just the Western part of it. Yeah, I just like that whole thing.
That's good. What did you feel about it, Prag? What did you come away feeling?
I saw this
from
movie
the
in
Three
1986 when it came out. It was a big hyped movie. I was probably 13. I didn't like it then. I don't like it now.
Oh no!
I thought it was very fucking mid for the amount of talent involved in this. I expected a lot more funny stuff. And if you're going to have a mad camp romp, you have to get crazier than this.
It's time for me to pull out the race card.
I like the bit where Chevy Chase was dismounting the horse and he ended up reversed on the next horse. That's like a background shot. Like he's dismounting the horse and then he pulls his leg over and then he just kind of like falls onto the next one.
Yeah.
There was. I mean, but it's not a bad movie. I mean, it's well shot. The costumes are cool. The music is great. Elmer Bernstein did all the music, right? The score, not all the music. It was like Randy Newman and Bernstein. So I mean, the music's phenomenal. The mix is great. It's filmed well. I'm comparing this movie to something like The Jerk or Trading Places.
You can't compare it to The Jerk.
Or there's so many. Yeah. Those guys have so many bangers that the expectations were through the roof when this movie came out. As far as because all those movies were just around there, and it was like a very hot time for movie comedies, right? It was just so many banger after banger, like Caddyshack, and they were just releasing banger after banger. and it was just like everyone was just like, this was not good enough. It wasn't funny enough.
I mean, I just watched it for the first time,
Mm.
literally 5 minutes ago. And I love Steve Martin. I love Chevy Chase. I love Martin Short. I love all three of those guys. Chevy
I
Chase
do,
has
too.
made some hilariously funny movies.
Oh
Steve
yeah,
Martin.
Fletch.
Fletch, yeah.
I mean, you just mentioned Caddyshack. There's a bunch of others, like all of the National Lampoon's vacation movies.
Vacation, right?
Yeah,
Vegas
fantastic.
Vacation. That's a good one.
And obviously, all three of these guys are SNL alum, yeah, like early SNL alum.
Absolutely.
Yep. But this film, I mean, I like the aesthetic of it. I think it's really charming. But I think I was mildly chuckling through most of it, and not really. I don't get any belly laughs. I don't think throughout this runtime.
How do I stop the stream? Where's that?
I mean,
This
I
is
can't
gonna be a
control if
short
I'm going to
review.
laugh. I wanted to laugh. I was plugged. I was ready to fucking laugh, and I was like, I forgot about this movie essentially since last time I saw it in '86, and I'm like, I want to laugh, and they didn't pull it out of me as much as I would like.
I've loved this movie ever since I saw it as a kid, and I have always maintained this movie is so goddamn funny, and I still say it's funny, but as I watched it, the second half is not as funny as the first half.
I will agree with that. Yeah, I think so. The second half is
it hits like a lull. But like as soon as they're camping or whatever and they're singing on animals, I think that's like a major lull for me. Which has always been a thing since I was a kid. When I got to that part, I'm like, oh, this is so boring. They're just sitting there singing.
I
sanitized it.
It felt like boring to me.
I feel like
I bet
the original cut to this is probably really fucking good because I feel like the studio got a hand to it and like edited out all the funny one. You know, I'm sure these guys improv their nuts off during the filming of this, and I feel like they cut it all out. They cut so much of it out, and that's
there are some good moments. Like I really like the scene where the German guy walks in and he's like, "When you see my when you see my friends, just tell them to wait." And then he leaves, and then these three guys walk in, and all of the entire bar is just like terrified of them while they're doing a Buttercup song. Like there's some good setup and payoff.
You know what? You know what a better version of this movie is? Blazing Saddles. Blazing Saddles does everything this movie tried to do, except they fucking go for it. And that's when I say it's not crazy enough for a mad camp romp. That's the kind of madness that you need in a movie like this. Is something that like Blazing. But if the studio cut this up after they had it, they're not going to do what Mel Brooks does or John Landis would do normally and just like let it fly. They're going to edit it and sanitize it and make it safe. And it maybe that's why it appeals to the audience that it appealed to at the time or whatever. But
So is it 100% true that John Landis wasn't heavily involved? Yeah, that's what it says.
That's what I read.
So Landis was on trial over the Twilight Zone tragedy during the editing of The Three Amigos, and the studio heavily edited the film down after he submitted his final cut. So there's probably like some good shit in here that's just missing. Yeah. Which I don't really understand because why would you like? Maybe executives just don't have a sense of humor.
1986 was very conservative time in Hollywood, right?
Yeah,
the 90s and the 70s were wild in Hollywood as far as like taking chances, but in the 80s they were not taking chances. Like the biggest chance they want to take is like Gremlins 2, and the Joe Dante comedy stylings, which is great and everything, but it's just a different vibe. It's just a different time. It was like the Spielberg who was initially slated to direct this. Steve Martin wanted Steve Spielberg to direct it, but that was the vibe, right? It was just a family movie. Movies were much more family orientated, and they made a family. They made what they did. What they did accomplish to make a family movie that Steve Martin and other big time comedians could cross over into.
One thing I'll say is I did find it funnier than A Million Ways to Die in the West and the ridiculous.
I like that movie a little bit. Now that I remember, I can't remember a lot of it, but it was pretty funny, that movie.
The Million Ways to Die in the West is like the Seth MacFarlane Western that he did with
Charlie Strong.
Who's in that? Can't remember who's in that.
God, Amanda Seyfried is in that.
Yeah.
from
what's his name? Taylor Lautner's in it. A bunch of
I
people.
like that movie.
And the Ridiculous Six is Adam Sandler's
I haven't
western
seen
that
it.
he made. It's absolutely terrible. But I think the reason this doesn't really hit for me is, number one, like the premise. I feel like I've seen, like, I know this is earlier than films like Tropic Thunder and Rango, but I feel like I've seen this premise like done a lot.
To
The
death.
premise of, yeah, like 5 actors who don't really know like the Wild Wild West or don't really know Vietnam. You know what I mean?
Vaudeville. It's the most ancient premise of all time, right?
enter a situation that they don't understand and then end up being the heroes anyway. It's a comedy staple of a premise. And I think Rango does an incredible job of like translating that premise into something that's funny, enjoyable, and I'm sorry to say that this one just didn't really hit a lot of the time.
Because it's supposed to be a Stooges kind of homage too, right?
Yeah.
Because of the way they stand and some of the actions. But if you're going to play Stooges, you have to stooge it up, and you can't have 3 heroes. And I feel like there was a branding issue, like, oh, we have to make sure that the big heroes, the main actors, come off as heroes and not just as idiots. And it would have been funnier if they were just playing them as straight idiots.
I mean, I did. There is stuff I really like. There's the signature like how does it go? The
when they turn and they cough.
When they turn and they cough. That made me laugh every time. Like that got me good. There's the scene where they're listing off the things that they're going to do after they get their money. Like, I'm going to buy a nice shiny car. What was the second? What does Chevy Chase
I'm
say?
going to go to New York and Paris and live it up.
So I'm gonna open an orphanage for homeless people. Yeah, I was gonna do that too. Yeah,
I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that first, and then I'll do
yeah.
that.
That's what I was gonna say. That was implied. There's some good stuff. There's some good stuff. It's just it feels like the jokes per minute are just not
spread
as
out.
high as
The joke that got me really good is when they first go to Santa Poco and they're eating the food, and the food falls out of the tortilla, and Chevy Chase
Yeah, that was funny.
You got anything other than Mexican food? That was a good line. That was a good line.
So fucking funny.
Yeah, that's a great line. But then we talked about a comedy film that we all liked not long ago, like Idiocracy. I meant on the podcast we talked about Idiocracy, and I feel like that film just like has banger after banger.
Oh my god, joke.
This film, it's a similar sort of premise, bunch of people end up in a situation they don't really understand, and I just feel like the comedy they milked out of that just wasn't hitting like as often, or they didn't try to hit it as often, and it just makes the breaks in between the jokes just like very standard and boring.
They didn't take chances with the jokes. There was no like pushing the envelope. It was very safe stuff. And all the actors are great, and even the villains and the female lead was great. And it's just like I wanted them to fucking say more funny things.
I mean, Chevy Chase has a great line when what's his name? El Guapo comes up to him, and he doesn't realize that he's in disguise, so he doesn't realize that he's one of the 3 amigos. He's going past the guys, and they're all listing things that they've done together.
Yeah,
and he's like, we raped the horses.
He's like, yeah, raped the horses.
Yeah, I thought that was so funny. But that's what I mean. Is like I feel like it's like sporadically funny. But just as a whole, a lot of it just dragged for me until I was waiting for the next funny part, the next funny joke. Honestly,
it was 2 hours too. I feel like it's been 90 minutes.
It was an hour 40.
Hour 47.
Yeah.
Hour 47 minutes, right?
Yeah.
I feel like they add like that's a 90-minute movie, right? I mean, if you cut 18 minutes,
there's a really weird scene early on where they're where the main lady and the kid that she's with, they walk into a cinema, and
I love that.
they're projecting a cinema, like they're projecting a movie on the screen. It's
in the church,
Three Amigos, but they've superimposed it onto the like they haven't actually gotten a real projector and projected it onto the screen. They've in post put just like a clear picture, like a clear box, in front of the screen for some reason. I was like, why didn't you just?
John Landis wasn't there that
have
day.
An actual.
He missed that day.
He's fucking sweating his nuts off. An actual
projector, but there's just some weird stuff in the movie. I love the scene with the where you said that's when the movie gets boring, but I actually really love the scene where they're singing.
The singing, yeah,
around the campfire. I love that. They're sitting around talking, and like the framing of Chevy Chase, he's like to the left, and there's just a turtle on the right, and they don't mention it the whole time. Like it keeps cutting to him, and there's just a real turtle next to him,
right?
Like for 5 minutes, and then they start singing, and then all the other animals join, and it's just like some really funny stuff like that. Like they just don't mention the turtle, and I just wish it was more often. I wish I wasn't bored, honestly.
I never said to myself, "Oh, I wonder what's going to happen next," because I kind of felt I knew what was going to happen. You know.
Well, you've seen the movie, so.
I know, but it was just like it was so on rails. The whole movie. It's like there was no risks. Like think about The Jerk. Think how fucking crazy it is to make The Jerk.
Insane.
And
I haven't seen The Jerk.
Oh, you got to see The Jerk, because that's a risky movie. They're taking big chances all the time in the movie like that, and it's packed with comedy. It's packed with joke. Like every scene's got a different thing in it, and that's why I don't want to compare it to that. But that's when I see these, like if you hear Mozart and then you hear some of his less compelling scores, then it's that kind of effect.
And knowing it's a John Landis film, it's hard not to compare it to John Landis films as well. Like he's just made some incredible comedies.
Trading Places.
The Blues Brothers has some of my favorite scenes of all time. Like there's a mission from God, and the like I cannot get out of my head the sequence of police cars, like the amount of police cars they got to chase them at the end of that film.
But that's why this isn't a fucking John Landis movie, because we obviously wasn't there. Because if you compare all the other Landis movies from the era, they're like, they're much more dense. There's much more stuff going on in them. There's like more complexity. Like that's a complex scene in Blues Brothers with the car chase and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I was really interested when you picked this film. I don't want to shit on your favorite film.
Yeah, I'm just standing here. You guys are just fucking stabbing the shit out of me.
I'm sorry. I don't hate this film. It's okay.
Would you prefer that I loved it. It was my favorite. I loved it. It was so funny.
Yeah,
and I love it.
You have to use that voice.
You don't want that.
You have to use that exact voice.
I'm respectful in criticizing it.
This is low-key racism, honestly.
Because
I don't think so.
Hey, I'm a big fan of Sergio Leone. I'm a big fan. But what I was going to say was this film wasn't a huge hit. It had a bad budget of $25 million. It only made $39 million.
It bombed in the theaters. People were pissed when this movie came out. They're like, this isn't fucking Trading Places. This isn't Animal House. This isn't The Jerk. This is, these are like, because you have to understand, there must have been 8 movies in a row with these people in them that were just like fucking huge bangers. And then this movie came out and people were like, okay.
I mean, you must love this film, Prag. You named your soccer team after its villain. So
no, I didn't name it.
That's true. You did.
Guapo just means handsome. I play a handsome style of football. And that's what I'm trying to impart. Everything has to be handsome. Right? Every pass, and we're going to stream later tonight. We're going to get handsome tonight.
Your 5-star feet.
Yeah, 5-star feet, 5-star soccer. That's the key.
Are you saying that El Guapo did come from Three Amigos? Or...
No,
he is saying that. He is saying
there's
that.
A band called Guapo. There's a band called Guapo.
Who also got the name from this.
On Cuneiform Records.
Yeah.
Who made an album called Black Oni. that's really good. And I just love the concept of how guapo doesn't translate like it's more of a vibe. It's more of a concept than just, it means handsome, but it means more than that. It just means like, I don't know, just guapo. Everything has to be guapo.
It's just guapo. Just guapo. I thought it was very funny at the end when they find out that the town are like they're sewers, like they're a big sewing town, and they remake all of their outfits.
Yeah.
And then when the guys the villains come into the town to attack them, they're meant to be. Okay, so here's the plan.
Okay.
Here's the plan. We're going to sew a bunch of outfits that look identical to the three Amigos outfits. We're going to make everyone in the town wear them.
Right.
And then we're going to pop out from different locations, shooting at them. But then when they shoot the film, all of the guys are just clearly Steve Martin,
three Amigos,
Chevy Chase, and Martin Short. Like, every single guy they see, like, they close up on their faces. It's just Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, and Martin Short.
And I paid attention because I was like, which ones aren't?
All of them are.
And which one? They're literally all of them are. Literally
all of them are.
All of them.
Yeah. So.
And then fine in a comedy.
When they do the
reveal,
all of their outfits look nothing
like them, and they're like this tall. Some of them are like little kids.
There's a little kid.
Some of them are old grannies. They all had guns.
They did.
Yeah, all of a sudden they have all the guns and all the material they need to make beautiful suits.
I don't know if that was the movie like intentionally being funny, or if that was like you weren't meant to notice, or it was meant to confuse you. I can't tell if that was a gag, like that was meant to be a sight gag.
Yeah,
obviously it was a sight gag. Obviously,
was it meant to be a sight gag?
I think so.
I was just watching like this is
because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. It is really. It kind of reminds me.
It's ridiculous.
It reminds me of one of the funniest gags.
It's not absurd enough. That's my complaint. I needed to go fucking 11 with your absurdity. Like, think about a Monty Python movie. Monty Python is like the king of absurdity. They go for it. They go They go for it. They do everything you're not supposed to do.
Yeah, movies like Airplane.
Or Airplane. That's another. Or Naked Gun.
Right? That's crazy.
They go for it. Every scene, joke. So many jokes. Like they have like 11 movies worth of jokes that they pack in.
Weekend at Bernie's, absolute banger.
Oh my god!
My personal.
God damn it!
Weekend at Bernie's is all right.
What do you mean it's all right? The movie's amazing.
It doesn't speak
really
to me.
Good. Are you joking? That's really
1 and 2 are awesome. What are you talking about?
And my personal favorite is Better Off Dead with John Cusack, which
is a great movie.
Which is just sight gag after sight gag after sight gag.
I want my $2.
I want my $2, and that's like the least funny joke in the movie, and it's still funny. I love that movie. And that's what I was going into this. That's what I was hoping for. I was hoping for just like sight gag after sight gag after sight gag, or just like these guys, because these guys are incredible performers. I feel like, and I was just hoping for.
If they let them cook, it would have been crazier. It would have been better.
Is there a director's cut out there? Like, has there been?
I don't know. That's a good question.
No, I just looked it up. There wasn't.
Maybe people don't really want to see much from John Landis anymore, but if they can patch together some of that footage, I mean, there's a lot of deleted scenes apparently.
Call Steve Martin and tell him that you want to see the fucking director's cut. I'm sure he has it.
Oh yeah.
What I'm hoping is that the studio I'm hoping that this is not the best film they could have gotten out of this.
No, it's
I'm
not.
hoping that the footage that they've got.
I guarantee you, if you could edit it, if they gave you all the film that they had, you could edit a much better version.
Well, apparently, I'm looking at this. On set, there were difficulties between the main actors and Landis. Most famously, Chase refused to tell a particular joke that would make his character look like a moron. Chase agreed to do the line after Landis threatened to give it to Short instead. Also sounds like Landis. Chase recalled making a hideous insult about Landis' supposed lack of stunt precautions. And that sounds like Landis as well.
That's awesome.
15-meter cliff. So Chase later said that making this movie was the most fun he's ever had. as well. So
Yeah.
that's weird. I don't understand.
He
I
got
don't
to hang out
understand
with his
what happened
buddies
on the
all day.
set.
Yeah.
I
Probably
guess
got to
so,
hang
yeah.
out all day and fucking snoot cocaine because that's what fucking Chevy loves in this period of his life. It's
This
a known fact.
this is the only film that Randy Newman has written.
Did he? Are they giving him credit for the musical
Screenplay.
numbers?
No, they're giving credit for the screenplay.
Okay, well then I blame Randy Newman.
You can't. No, that's illegal. You literally can't blame Randy Newman.
You can't
That is
blame Randy
illegal.
Newman for anything.
Yeah.
He's a genius.
He wrote "I Love
He's-
L.A." That's literally the best song in the world.
Short People Have No Reason is a banger. I agree.
That's a good
But
one.
other than
He
that,
wrote "You've Got a Friend in Me."
Yeah.
yeah, he's fine.
He's fine. How dare you? How dare you?
He's fine.
What's
is
the
an-
song about
he is
short
an
people
icon.
about that?
About
Short
short
people have
people.
no reason. Short people need to be killed. They have little cars. They go beep, beep, beep. That's in the fucking lyrics.
The line
Listen,
about them
JC,
being killed.
have you listened to the fucking song Short People by Randy Newman? He says they have no reason to live. I mean, what are we talking about?
No, I have not
Funny?
heard this song.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
you haven't?
What?
Oh,
You
let's
haven't?
share it right now. Can we get the fucking share screen going?
Yeah, you can.
I can.
If you've got the
Absolutely.
video up.
I can.
Please.
Listen, let me get it here.
We'll probably get
Yeah.
copyright strike by
Randy
Randy
Nobody
Newman's
watches this anyway, so let them shoot it.
Oh, hey, that's not true. That's not true.
All right, here it comes. All right. Yeah, here we go.
I will say not doing the poster anymore makes it easier for the share screen because the amount of times I had to cut out the poster like when the share screen
really?
appeared and then put it back on. Yeah. What is this short people? Have you got
There's
the
no,
lyrics?
there's no audio either.
No audio.
Sure.
I can like barely
You
hear
hear the
it.
audio from his headphones
Short people got
feeding
no
into the
reason.
mic.
Got no reason to live. They got little hands, little eyes. They walk around telling great big lies. What the fuck?
That's what I'm talking about, man.
It's not about short people in stature. It's short people on the inside.
Telling great big lies. They got little noises, tiny little teeth.
It sounds like something Colin Farrell would say in Bruges.
We don't
crazy.
want
Farrell,
no
2 seconds
short people. Don't want no short people around here. Okay? Now what do you say about Randy Newman? He's a
love him.
monster.
I love him.
Well, lucky I'm not short, so I don't
Isn't
really
that a
care.
funny song, though? I love that song.
That's crazy.
Him
You never
and
heard
Martin
that song,
Short.
Time?
I've heard the song 100%.
Okay. I don't know.
Do you write it about
JC
Martin
never
Short?
heard. What about you,
I've never
JC?
heard that song.
About Martin
I'm
Short.
not short. Yeah, obviously.
That's the
He
funny
met Martin
part. See,
Short,
that's
and
what
then
an
he wrote it.
absurdist does. I make a short joke about someone who's tall. That's the art.
That's like calling a tall person
I'm not
tiny.
tall
yeah.
either. I'm like right in the middle.
Well, how tall are
Right
you?
in the middle.
Let's all go around and talk about how tall we are.
I'm 5'9".
I'm
Short.
surprised you didn't give it to me in centimeters.
Short. 5'9"?
I'm really fucking surprised you didn't do that.
You guys are
You're not
American.
5'9".
Yeah, I know,
I'm
but
5'9".
I don't believe you.
I'm 5'9".
I always had you
5'9".
as a 6-footer at least.
No way.
too
Really?
You know who's surprisingly tall is Dark BMX.
dark. Yeah,
What's his height? He's sitting at 6 foot. Oh. Why
But
time?
he also put-
You're a tiny man.
he also puts a lift in his shoes. I'm 5'7".
Oh, see, I can't do that.
That's
Can't
about
do
average.
what? What does that mean?
I can't be 5'7".
Can't
I'm
do
meant to be
being
6'1".
5'7".
Oh, so you're attacking my culture and my
I'm not
shortness.
attacking it. That's
This
not
is
your
crazy.
culture.
This
You're
is crazy.
fucking.
This movie is my culture.
It's
dare
not
you.
even. It's not even a Mexican film. It's
so
American.
Mexican. It's so Mexican.
This is the least Mexican film
no,
ever
it's not.
made.
It's so
It's
Mexican.
directed by a white dude. It's
Joe Montana is the most Mexican person in the
He is
film. and He's
not.
Italian.
No,
Joe Montana's Italian.
Phil Hartman's in it. And
I
John
know. I
Lovitz.
wanted more Phil Hartman. I'm like, oh,
Phil
great,
Hartman's
Phil
great.
Hartman's in this, and then
Yeah.
he's in for fucking 8 seconds. And then they killed him, and then his wife killed
They
him.
didn't kill. Wait, hold on. Wait a minute.
His wife killed him. You know what happened to Phil Hartman?
Yes. Yes.
His wife got yacked out, and they shot him. Shot.
I didn't know
Phil
about that.
Hartman.
Yeah.
You didn't know that? It's such a tragedy. He was so funny. If you ever
It's
watch
super
News
funny.
Radio, he's really good on that.
Mm.
And Saturday Night Live during his era, he's one of the great Saturday Night Live
Mhm.
actors that doesn't get the credit. I think he's probably one of my favorite comedians.
I heard John Candy was really funny as well. I'm
Oh,
too
God.
young.
Planes,
too young.
Trains, and Automobiles. Have you seen that?
Uncle Buck.
No.
Oh shit!
I've heard
That's
it's
what we
good.
should have watched. All right, listen.
Is that John Landis as well? No, that's not John Landis. That's
No.
someone else.
I don't remember who directed that one, but Planes, Trains, and
Lon
Automobiles is a
Jandis.
fucking
Is it
banger, and I can't
Robert
believe you
Altman?
haven't seen it.
It's
No,
not
it's not
Robert
Robert
Altman.
Altman. No, I'll look it up. Let's listen.
Mm.
Listen, we're gonna get down to this.
I want to know. But yeah, so I'm struggling
John Hughes.
John Hughes, right.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to find more to say about Three Amigos. I mean, it's very inoffensive. It's
a
I can
family
imagine,
movie,
yeah, and
family comedy. No offensive things, except if if you're going to be offended by, I don't know. There's just like no overt like sex jokes or potty jokes. Even it's just like
there is that weird scene where the two guys are like he asks him what plethora means, and then
that was so funny. Yeah. That was so fucking funny though.
And then they have a weird conversation about what women want and how women flower.
Yeah, it was 86.
Like, what was the point of that?
It's 1986.
It didn't go anywhere.
It's different.
It's such a weird aside.
When the flower is ready to open, it will open for you. You can't force into a flower. That whole fucking.
And like,
and then so that response is what he says, and then the El Jefe or the Jefe, whatever, he asks, "Well, when do you think it's going to bloom?" And I expected, yeah, and I expected a crazy like gross answer, but he's like, maybe tonight.
Maybe. Yeah, and then they have like a dance
and if she
party.
does it, I'll kill her.
I love when all the banditos have a town dance party and all the fucking like they have this nice little ball in the courtyard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I thought the Germans were going to have
pinatas.
more of a more of a presence in the film. I thought there was going to be more jokes like made about the Germans, but they kind of just show up and then
they brought the plane,
and then you get shot. Yeah, they brought the plane.
Yeah,
the plane has the Iron Cross on it, which was interesting.
I know, I noticed that.
It's World War I, right? This movie takes place in 1918.
Yeah.
I guess it's like after the World War.
But again, there's like I'm now remembering jokes. Like that's the thing is that the jokes are memorable. Like there's that one where he asks the dude to hold the hat up. He just shoots him in the head. And he's like, "Yeah, I did it."
The thing I want to point out is this is the only episode we've done where we are not talking about the movie and we're talking about. Remember that funny scene? This is the only episode we've done.
That was a good point.
Just pointing out.
That's a good point. But like, I feel like what makes it not work is just the in between. It's just like it's very dull in between. I feel like
it's like an extended.
There's just not a lot to talk about. Yeah. So how do you talk about this movie? Like we've already talked about the visuals. We talked about how the music is very
good. The
score's good. It's
Homer Bernstein.
The main instrumental is so catchy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was
You're humming that
before we started. Yeah. I mean, it is because I just watched it. It's like on my screen right now.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I can remember everything from it. I feel like come a week I might. I don't know if I'm going to remember much from this come a week, but we'll see.
It's probably one of those movies where like you watch and then you talk about it like in that moment, and then you just that's it
with your friends.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a fun movie to put on.
If I had like a 10-year-old daughter, or like if there was a slumber, I mean, that's not a bad thing because I think it's made as a family movie, and it really plays well to kids like who are not as jaded and cynical as me, and will probably be able to receive it.
Yeah.
Because they don't know who Steve Martin is and they don't give a fuck, and that's my mistake. Because I already loaded it up with what I expected from it, my expectations, and so that's my fault.
The thing is though, I feel like if I was going to get like a bunch of friends over, there's like 100 comedy films I'd put on before this. I feel like, and that's the issue. Is that it just doesn't break that barrier of quality that I'm looking for in a comedy like this, especially with everyone involved. But yeah, so what are we doing next week, guys?
Jesus Christ!
That's the thing. Is like I want to say
Is this
more.
the first
but
episode we ran out of shit to talk about?
yeah,
I mean,
I hate you guys.
and-
I fucking hate you guys so goddamn
be the
much.
jerk.
what do you want me to
Trading
say?
Places. See,
I'm not.
Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. I'll give you a list of movies to see.
We can review
Instead,
American Werewolf
with
in
these-
London right now if you want. That's a banger movie.
That is, I mean,
But the thing is like John Landis is like his the endings of his films are always incredibly abrupt. This one, no. This one drags on a little bit, I feel like, at the end. Do you agree or not?
No, I don't think.
because the editor is not the director. Because it's like
Yeah.
they gave it to a team of like 17 fucking editors probably, and
Probably.
who all
yeah.
wear executives, all suits, right? Who don't give a fuck, who just want to market it, just want to sell it. And so I feel like they took all the sharp edges off or something. Even if there were any, I don't know.
Well, I guess we'll never know. Newman contributed 3 original songs: "A Ballad of the Three Amigos," My Little Buttercup," and "Blue Shadows on the Trail."
He didn't
says
write My
original,
Little
see?
Buttercup. Why are you taking credit
mean,
for My
okay,
Little
hold on,
Buttercup? It
hold
was
on.
written in
That's
1908. It's like fucking
probably
Led
just
Zeppelin in
It
here,
is
dog.
possible
Come on, dog.
that there's another song that's named My Little Buttercup. It's
No
possible.
idea.
I've known My Little Buttercups before this
possible.
movie was made. People low-key be singing it in the fucking early 80s.
The production went through many cast changes before filming. Martin had been attached to the project since
Yeah.
1980, and he, Dan Aykroyd, and John Belushi were originally going to star. At one point,
Right.
Steven Spielberg was slated. Spielberg was going to make this.
Yeah,
And
that's
he
what
wanted
I said.
Martin, Bill Murray, and Robin Williams to stay Lucky Dusty and Ned, respectively. Landis has said that
Development
Rick
hell.
Moranis would have been cast. Yeah.
Rick
would've-
Moranis is involved now. They should make a sequel with all of the actors that they wanted to put in this and make it the 9 Amigos. That would be funny.
Well, they
The
can't have
9
John
Amigos.
Candy, unfortunately.
They should CGI John Candy in. Fuck it.
I wondered.
See, now that movie makes me
Oh my
laugh.
god! Stop. That'd be
I want to direct
disgusting.
9 Amigos. I think I can make a listen. Let Steve fucking make the movie he really wanted.
I hate you
While
guys.
Steve Martin is top billing in some posters as well as DVD covers today, Chevy Chase is top billing in the film itself. Isn't that interesting? I wonder
Is
what
that
happened
alphabetical though?
At the end it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right
But
there.
no,
it's,
at the
it's
start,
right behind you. Oh, it's right behind you right there.
No, at
Cast
the
order of
start when
appearance.
they.
Yeah.
Yeah. Martin performed his own lasso tricks for the film.
Yeah, that was sick.
That was cool. I was watching that. I was like, is that CGI? That kind
an
of
elegant
had CGI
banjo player as well.
1986.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You mean Chevy Chase is? Because
No,
he's
Steve
on the
Steve
plane.
Martin.
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin's an amazing banjo player. Technical, very good.
Mhm.
Did Chevy Chase play the instruments in the film that he played?
I
No.
don't think so.
No.
Or was that all Randy Newman?
It's all Randy Newman.
All Randy Newman.
Did
I'm not sure.
have you guys seen the movie Clifford with Martin Short?
Is that about the dog?
No, the
Clifford
red
the
No.
dog.
Red dog?
No.
Oh,
Okay.
Clifford.
No, I know.
It rings a bell. See, Martin Short doesn't have a lot of great movies. That's
That
another
movie's
thing.
fucking fire.
I don't
it's,
think I kind of remember that one.
It has the dad from the Beethoven movies. What's his name?
Oh, I can see him. Josh.
No, it's not
Gro-
Josh.
I haven't seen
Oh
any
fuck!
Beethoven film.
He used to go on David Letterman all the time.
Did he?
Yeah,
Our boy, Roger Ebert.
Charles Grodin.
I can't
Charles
remember.
Grodin.
Charles Grodin. There
Yeah.
you go.
Grodin.
It's Charles Grodin and Martin Short, and the premise of the movie is
I think I have seen that, and it was funny.
Charles Grodin, he meets a girl and he starts dating her. I think it's Mary Steenburgen. I think it's who it is.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a son. So it's basically like one of those things where it's like, if you want to date me, you have to love my son. He has to accept
Yeah,
you.
all right, I've seen that movie.
And her son is Martin Short, but it's just Martin Short like on his knees.
Yeah, it's a fucking weird movie.
Is that real?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's a
it's
little
real.
fucking tyrant. It's crazy.
You want to see the trailer from that?
Yeah, let's watch the trailer for it.
Why didn't you pick that movie?
I forgot about that till now. We're watching it now. Fuck it, we're watching it now.
No.
Let's watch and review it right now.
Yeah. The movie's absolutely insane.
So Roger Ebert gave this film one star out of 4.
Yeah.
1 out of 4. Saying the ideas to make Three Amigos into a good comedy are here, but the madness is missing, which I think is what Prague
Well,
said.
Prague said, yeah.
Yeah,
Can you see
literally.
this? Is it
Yeah.
sharing?
Yeah, it's sharing, yeah.
Hi, what's your name, son? My name is Clifford.
I remember this movie.
Bestest captain in the whole
I
wide
love
world.
this movie.
Iconic.
That looks like a scene from Airplane.
Yeah.
With his uncle
We gotta watch this
Isn't there an
movie.
incredible family
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, I guess so.
Are we ready to go to Dinosaur World now?
I've got some bad news.
That's some Lord of the
Neil Struggs
Rings.
is great.
That's like Lord of the
Nephew,
Rings
nephew,
camera
yeah.
trickery.
I need it badly.
What do you mean you're out of chocolate? I need chocolate!
See, this is the
Breaking a little boy's
craziness.
promise would be a terrible, terrible thing. Imagine the little boy wouldn't be responsible for what he was going to do next. I believe your tank is right there.
Ow.
See, when you are looking at the baseball, look at it. Hit it. And keep your eye on it.
Martin Short in his smallest role ever.
His smallest
Charles
role.
Grodin
This is
in his
very-
most trying performance.
I underestimated the evil one.
What is it with you and Dinosaur World? It's a sick thing!
And Mary Steenburgen.
Can you just act like a human boy for 1 minute here? Look at me like a person. You can't do it for more than a few seconds. Look at me like a human boy. Hello? Whose house is this?
Like a human
He's
boy.
throwing the party, and I think his name is Clifford. Want me to get him? I'll get him later.
There it is, Clifford. Dinosaur World.
How many years do you think you'll get for kidnapping me, Uncle Ken Most Wanted?
That is so cute. I really should
This
have
is
put this in
wild.
hyperdrive. But I
Look at
just
his face.
to help myself.
See, Charles Grodin is a fucking killer. He's a low-key killer.
Clifford.
He's in that
Terror has a
De
new
Niro
look,
movie.
And comedy has a new face.
Oh, honey, be careful while you eat your cereal. Use a napkin. This boy and his cereal.
It's just, I mean, he's wearing red, and the title has red in it. Are you sure
no.
this isn't meant to be like a weird adaptation of Clifford the Big Red Dog?
I wish it was.
Yeah.
I want to see it.
Good movie. I love it.
It reminds me of like some of those like weird comedies that they had. When was that made? Was that in the 90s?
That's I feel like the early '90s.
Yeah, it reminds me
Charles
of
Grodin
like
was
those.
like in Midnight Express with Robert De Niro too, where he plays like a cop who's like De Niro's taking Charles Grodin back to under arrest, like on a train or something. It's like stuff of comedy. It's
I don't
good.
think I've ever seen Charles Grodin in a serious role.
It's good, man.
Yeah.
Miss Charles. What are we doing next week? What's the next
What are
movie?
we doing
I hate
next
you guys.
week?
God
What's up,
damn it.
Clarksters?
God damn
Fuck
it.
you. You
guys.
don't like anything I like, so why should I like what you like?
That's not true. I like.
I'm
You know what I'm
sorry.
Fuck
Well,
you.
would you recommend? Firstly, would you recommend Clifford?
Yeah, I would recommend
I would
Clifford.
recommend Clifford. Yeah.
I want to recommend Clifford right now.
Would you recommend Three
We should just
Amigos?
turn this into a Clifford watch party. I bet it's probably on the
It's a
Internet
Clifford podcast.
Archive, and we could just share screen and just watch Clifford right now.
would you recommend the Three Amigos, Prag? And what would you rate it?
I would recommend it to a sick child because it's not too funny.
Fair.
They're not going to get too sick,
Fair.
right? They're going to smile. It's going to be pleasant. They're not going to get too excited. They're not going to get all red.
But they'll have a
I give
chuckle.
it a 38 out of 100.
38. Ooh, that's rough. That's rough.
Yeah,
Time,
because John
would you-
Landis didn't make this movie.
Yeah, good point. Time, would you recommend Three Amigos? What would you rate it?
Yes, I would recommend it without any caveats because it's hilarious, and I would rate it a 75.
75.
Yeah,
Wow.
75.
I would recommend. Yeah.
You okay?
Here's what I'll say.
JC, just be honest.
I'm being honest. If you've
All right,
run out
let
of
it go.
comedy films to watch, like classic
When
comedy,
you ran out, there's like 3,000 comedy films.
Yeah,
If you
ran
ran-
out.
3,001.
Yeah, ran out.
if you've watched the top like 500 comedy films
Mhm.
of all time, and you want to watch something that'll give you a chuckle for a little bit,
If you don't want to
yeah,
laugh.
I'd recommend it. Why not? But watch Blazing Saddles first. I'd imagine. I haven't
You
seen
didn't-
it. but
just
I've
say you
heard it's
don't
really good.
recommend it then, right?
I don't know. I'd still recommend it. I'd still be like, yeah, watch
To
it.
who?
Whoever, families,
Whoever wants to watch it.
parents, whoever
All
wants
right.
to watch. Like,
Fair
I
enough.
yeah.
All right, what's
There's
this for?
some films that I just would not recommend, but this one I wouldn't not recommend it. I'd
Yeah,
just be like,
Grizzly
yeah.
Man. That's what you wouldn't recommend, right?
Boo.
No, I'd recommend watching it. Remember, I did recommend Grizzly Man. I just
He did.
didn't vibe
He
with
did.
it
I'm just
myself.
joking with you guys.
If you remember,
Nobody cares if we
Do you
don't
remember?
watch the movie.
I don't know where you're going
He's
to
the
be
Joker.
when we
He's the
edit
Joker, baby.
down here.
You know what?
Joker, baby.
Toaster.
What about
mentioned the other day.
Man? Where does he get all those wonderful toys?
Where does he get all those wonderful bears?
We're going to make a show called Jar Jar and the Joker.
Oh, I like
And your
that.
dad might like this, and it's
I
a
like
real
that.
play. And I'm going to be playing Mark Hamill as the Joker.
Is that really happening?
I hope so. It has to now. It has to.
Toaster's working on the script. Bother him on Sunday at 8 o'clock. Your dad might like this.
Okay.
She won't.
But what are we doing next week? We've got Time's wife.
Very, very special guest. Unfortunately, my wife will be my wife.
My wife.
My wife. She will be here as a guest. We're going to
Is
be
she
watching.
going to be here, though?
It's to be determined. We'll find out.
What do you mean it's to be determined? Does
Are
she
you
need a
guys
pep
going to get
talk or
married
something?
at the next TwitchCon?
They are
That'd be
married.
so-
We're going to
that'd
get
be
married
so
on the
cute.
next episode.
Listen,
Yeah.
the state of California considers them married, JC. That's all you need to know.
It's common
State-
law, baby.
Yeah, it's the law. It's the law.
This
I don't need
law,
no
Prague,
government to tell me I'm married.
Yeah, see?
But yeah, so what are we watching again?
Marriage Story.
Marriage Story.
It's a Halloween
shows-
film.
It may be
It's scary.
possibly a special start time
Okay.
because
Later or
What?
earlier?
What are we talking about?
because
Later. I don't mind
We can
later.
do later.
Earlier, I wouldn't.
because it'll be
As long as it's on Sunday or Saturday.
it'll be game 2 of the World Series with the Dodgers.
Oh,
and Yankees.
Jesus. What happens
That's
when you
fun.
DVR one of these games and like
I
you
can't.
don't
I
watch
can't. I
any of
watch
it,
it
and
live.
then
I have
you
to watch
wait
it
an
live.
hour and
I
then
have to watch it live. No,
but how
I have
do
to watch
your
it live.
brain doesn't know it's live? It's live to you
I know
because you
it's
don't know
live.
what's happened yet.
I'm itching.
I'm going to start canceling episodes too for things I like to do. Is that cool, JC?
Do
But
it.
he's not canceling it. He's just
Yeah,
pushing
I'm
it
saying.
back.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just
pushing
going
it
to start moving the schedule around then.
Yeah, move around.
Yeah, I'm going to say
Dark
yeah,
was
I had
already
a-
doing it and
I'm
went on
having-
it. He's not even on our team. He's not even
Yeah.
on the podcast. Dark.
Who? What about him?
Well, he's
No,
been
he's not on
pushing
the
our
You're
shit
right.
back,
What
I'm on
about
the
him?
team.
Who's that?
and he's not even on the team.
Yeah.
No, everyone's getting real laissez-faire over here, and we're still not
Love you,
affiliate.
Doc.
I mean, we were supposed to record a fucking
Yeah,
banger
what happened there,
Netflix
guys? That was-
episode.
A baseball
I don't know.
game was
Ask your
on.
man. He
All right,
scheduled.
all right.
He blocked off a whole
It's
fucking
the fucking
week.
playoffs. Okay, I don't want to tell you. Very
Are
important.
you doing it this Wednesday?
Record it.
Yeah,
You're doing it this Wednesday.
this one's for sure.
Okay.
This one's for sure. Yeah.
Cool. No
What
worries.
if the World Series? How do you know? Wouldn't the World
I
Series
can
start
see
by
the
then?
schedule. No. It's an off day. It's a travel day.
Mm.
This next
So
week there's gonna be a
Marriage
lot
Story-
of animosity between Prague and I. It's East Coast versus West Coast. It's happening.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Might be what it is.
What was I going to say? And
Marriage
we're talking
Story.
about Uzumaki. Are we talking
Yes.
about Uzumaki this Friday or next Friday?
We can do this Friday. We
No,
can do
no,
this Friday.
we still have to record the other fucking
Friday.
one. Wait a minute. You can't
yeah,
pre.
Vince McMahon on
You can't
Wednesday.
push Vince McMahon.
No, we do
No, that's
all of
happening
them.
now I'm
Wednesday.
confused.
Wednesday's Vince McMahon.
Okay,
And
but
then Friday
Uzumaki
is
is a TV
Uzumaki.
show, isn't it?
Yeah.
What time is the Friday epi?
Oh shit! I forgot it's early.
Is that the 6 a.m. joint?
Yeah, that's early.
But that I thought you
Yeah.
were supposed to brave the cinemas at 6 a.m. on Fridays.
Well, we haven't
okay.
got a movie to pick this time.
Yeah.
We got Uzumaki. I just can't do
Well, there's no
Wednesdays.
way I'm
so
going
I
to
can't talk about
there's
TV
no
shows on
fucking
Wednesday.
way this week.
We'll
I'll be
figure it out. We'll
available. I mean,
figure it
there's 17 days
But this
left.
Wednesday,
fucking
Vince
election.
McMahon. Vince McMahon.
Wednesday? Are you
Yeah.
sure?
Yes, there's
Yeah,
no game
what
Wednesday.
time? 8 o'clock?
Whatever time we did last time. It's up to you. Whatever time you want to do.
Oh, it's up to you. I mean, I'm usually done by 4.
What are we doing this right now?
We're talking about the schedule. This is content. People
This
love
is
this.
not content.
Bart
People
look
hate
at our
this.
hour of
No one wants to hear
enjoys
this.
it.
doing it.
This is what Clark tunes in for.
See, we
You
still
see,
made
there's
it to an
5
hour.
people watching.
still
One of them
made
is
it to
Flame
an hour.
Princess. The other 3 are us. So there's 3 of us, Clark and Flame
That's
Princess.
higher than what we need, the average we need, so it's good. But
Oh, is this
what
our
I was-
affiliate stream? Are we going to be affiliate after this?
No,
Could be.
after Vince McMahon. I
After
think.
Vince McMahon. Yeah.
If we ever
After
record
Vince
that
McMahon.
one.
Vince McMahon's gonna save us.
Isn't there something else that we were going to do besides Vince McMahon and
I got the
Uzumaki.
schedule
There's
right
one more
here.
thing. I forgot what it was.
There was a movie we were going to watch that you wanted to watch Saturday night.
Salem's Lot I was talking about? And
Saturday night.
and then
I remember that,
Penguin. If you guys want to watch The Penguin, I'm watching The Penguin.
I'm
Penguin.
watching
Talking
the
about the
Penguin.
Penguin.
It's really good, isn't it?
All right, maybe
Yeah,
we should
I'd be-
review that on on a Wednesday.
Yeah, I'd be happy to talk about the Penguin.
okay.
No,
So
well,
next-
yeah, when it finishes, that's going to be in 4 weeks.
So the next thing I have to be here for is Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
All right, just hit me up on Wednesday morning and
Okay.
we'll figure it. Maybe we'll do it like 6 or something like that.
We can try and make
What do you
something
prefer,
work
early
for-
or late?
Wednesday doesn't
Me.
matter. Doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, I'm not doing that.
All right.
It's a moment. So you want to talk about Uzumaki?
I have a lot to say about Vince McMahon. What?
But you want to talk about Uzumaki Prag?
Yeah, but if I can't make it, I want you guys to do it. It's fine. It's no worries.
Okay.
Get someone else. You know what I always say? It's like get another guest too.
I'd be happy to get another guest. Yeah.
Have another find some, like if we find someone who watched the Penguin, bring them on. It's like this gives us an opportunity to have more guests because it's not during the main movie. Bring your dad. I don't care. You know, it's like it's fun. More the merrier.
Your dad might like this. The Penguin edition.
Your dad might like this. The Penguin, and we've got a prime example right here.
Yeah, there you go.
But thank you guys for watching this.
Clarksters could review the fucking Penguin. I know Clarksters is on Ghost Monsters Live all the time. JC, he's very funny.
I believe you. I trust you.
He's good. He's smart. All right.
Thank you guys for watching this episode of Three Grandmas Yapping About Movies. We talked about all of our favorite film, Three Amigos, absolute classic. Thanks for everyone watching. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Go Dodgers. Bye.
It looks like an Abba Zaba. It looks like a yellow taffy.
Abba Zaba, you my only friend.